Well, Kenny, here we are again, and I have this question for you, which is a wee bit lengthy, but I'm sure you've looked at it. I have a number of friends, the questioner is saying, I have a number of friends and family who find it very hard to understand that the word indicates that it and possibly the universe is only 6,000 years old. With almost daily excavations of skulls and bones, it seems the science provides overwhelming evidence that, say, Neanderthal, I presume that means Neanderthal man, go back as far as 10,000 years, with others in the field of science suggesting that the universe is billions of years old. And personally, says the questioner, I believe the flood answers most of these difficult questions, but there are also some Christians who believe partly in evolution.
Okay. I've been thinking about this one quite a bit, and what I want to give is an answer that works for my little brain. There's loads of resources out there that people can go to if they want to look into more of the science versus creation type arguments. There's tons of them. But what I was thinking was, if you look at Scripture and you read the biblical historical story, I think you arrive at a place where the earth is relatively young, according to the account in Scripture. But if you were to come at it from a scientific point of view, you would come to the conclusion the earth is really old. And what I mean by that is if we went back to, supposing creation happened, which I believe it did, and God created Adam and Eve, and he placed them in this garden on the face of this brand new earth, and we were to arrive a month after they were in place. And if you and I were to look at Adam and Eve, we might say, looking at them with all our scientific knowledge, that they're probably about, 30, 40 years of age. I'm not exactly sure what they looked like. We would not arrive at the idea they were a month old, because he created them male and female, fully formed adults, as it were. If we were to look around in the garden and we were to see trees fully formed and bearing fruit, we would not, with all the knowledge that we have, arrive at the conclusion that tree's a month old. It would be nice if you planted a seed and a month later you had fruit that you could literally take and eat. And then if you were to look even closer at creation, using all the scientific knowledge that we have, even at our limited disposal, and you saw a river flowing through this garden, we know that rivers are formed over hundreds, thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of years to get the riverbed flowing in the way that they flow out. And looking at all of that with our scientific knowledge, we'd come to the conclusion this garden has been here a very, very long time, whereas in actual fact, it's been there a month. Yeah. And when God created earth, he created it as a fully functioning ecosystem, that with all of our expertise, we would look at it and think scientifically, this earth is really old. It's been here a long, long time, whereas in actual fact, it had been there a month. So I think it can oftentimes be a false argument that we set up, because I look at the biblical historical story and I arrive at this idea that the earth is relatively young. That's how it seems to read to me. But I know, using the science that we have, if I were to explore the young earth, I would come to the realization it's actually really, really old, because I'm not bringing into account the fact that God created it as a fully functioning ecosystem. So a lot of the times this argument, I kind of go around it with that idea of this is what we would think if we were to arrive in it. And I do think the flood has got a place in answering quite a few of the questions that rise up. But that two ideas of biblical historical accounts suggest young, but if we were to explore it through modern scientific methods, even the young earth, we would say, was really old. So that's kind of how I hold that in balance.
But the scientific methods are not necessarily infallible.
No, they're definitely not. No. And it's how you...
And they are changing.
Yeah, well, the more that we discover, and some of their theories, and this is where I do get a bit, some of the scientific theories are taught as laws and facts, whereas they are just theories. Yeah. So there's a distinction in there. So.
Sure. It's a big issue.
It certainly is.